It's Monday today, that though, to be fair. Good evening. Welcome to Club Call. We have captioned this. Can the Toffees turn it around in December? So get in touch with your take on winter is coming for Everton. Can they turn it round? You just carry on, mate.
I mean, biscuits.
I know, you eat your biscuits and then, I'll ask you, can they turn it round? Can they turn it round in December? We'll see. Gavin Cunningham says not with Deitch. So Gav's gone in straight away. Gav's convinced. Toffee Boy says, howdy. Would you guys take Moyes as a doff with a hungry young manager underneath him? I don't know whether he'd want a director of football job. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he wants, but I just wonder if he'd want a director of football job.
Is that really right? Right. Is that really the succession plan for a man? Is that what a manager like him feels like they would do next?
Right.
But it's not real. Because...
Okay. Because he mentions it on Stick to Football, doesn't he?
He does. He says, I don't understand why more managers don't become doffs.
Mm.
Isn't it because it's not the same job as what they think it is? Isn't it because they think...
It's just signing players.
It's just signing players, sorting contracts out, but actually it's not. It's loads more. And I'm not saying they can't do it, by the way.
Mm.
But I actually think that, in many ways, being a director of football is more about putting things in place.
Yeah.
Than actual football and stuff. And I think it works. When Southampton put Clive Woodward in charge, right, of director of football, football was just completely lost its head, right? Yeah. And yet I remember watching a documentary about England Rugby Union when they won the World Cup, and he didn't do anything, as in coaching or anything. What he did was he was literally the director of rugby, let's just say.
Yeah.
He put together...
Got a lot of credit for it, though, didn't he?
No, because he wasn't the coach. But what he was he was the guy who organised everything and knitted it all together so they won the World Cup. And I think that's what a director of football is. In terms of I don't know, in films, you'd be the producer. You put everything together, put all the best people in place. And I just don't think a manager's skill set it's one of the skill sets you need to be a director of football. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's loads of other stuff, really arsey stuff that they can't do. Loads of day-to-day nonsense.
They wouldn't want to do, would they?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where people go, could he be the director of football? There's loads of systems and all this. I remember someone we know telling us what Ashworth had done at Brighton and how the plan he'd set up and how intricate and important it was. I feel like it's closer to being a civil servant than it is to being a football manager.
It's an administrator.
That's job. What I mean.
We've got an administrator's ad off.
And that's why I just don't think this idea of going, well, I was a football manager and I used to sign players and I used to give them contracts. And I used to set these things up. Yeah, that's part of the job, but I don't think you know enough about the job. Because I also think a manager would start looking over the manager, a director of football who had been a manager would start looking over the manager.
Harry Enfield, you don't want to do it like that.
Looking over the shoulder, going, well, I'm not sure about that. Or I think a good director of football absolutely separates himself from being the manager. Whereas I'm not sure a manager who went into that role could do that. I think they'd start going, not sure about this. And also because they have been managers, I think they look at it in a very short-term view.
Of course they do.
Whereas a director of football takes a view of 3 to 5 years.
John Russell, I mean, I don't know whether I should read this out, but I will. Says, remember it's Fletch bingo day. So today it's 1, button in, 2, anything new ground, 3, any praise to United, and finally for a full house, Mourinho. Fletch says lots of stuff, lots of good stuff.
Fletch has already been on one of our shows today in the comments, and I believe
he's moved on from Mourinho.
He may have moved on from Mourinho. I believe he's got someone new in his sights, and I want to hear all about that, Fletch.
Fair play.
I appreciate your calls.
We all do,
and I appreciate anyone's calls, and the link is there on Premier,
for Premier members,
or on if you're a YouTube member. You'll see there's a post. I've put a post with the link on.
Okay.
Got Astro. Yes.
Wow. We thought he'd gone missing.
He's definitely not gone missing.
Okay.
He's definitely been in my DMs all week.
Hey, listen. Fair play. Fair play. Let's go to it then.
Get him on. Get the big
Nick
man on.
The big Nick. Is he there? Is he there with on the Bayou, or is he full?
Go on, Nick. Go on,
Nick. How are you, man?
Go on,
man. I had a little medical procedure this morning, and I to ease everybody's worries, I'm all right.
Okay.
Physically.
Okay.
But yeah, I have to say the nicest thing about after I was out of, after I came out of the anesthesia, I was sitting in there, and you know what I was doing, Baz? I was watching you and Dave talk from yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And it was the most comforting damn thing in the world watching you guys because of our history, and I'd like to think our friendship. There's just something about Dave talking about Everton that is just, even when it's bad, like not what Dave was saying. Dave was spot on and he was perfect. But I don't know, man. Like, if I'm somebody's going to have to give me bad news, I think Dave needs to be the one to give it to me, because I could sit and listen to him read the damn ingredients off a Fruit Loops box. But he hit on something and I've been struggling to, and you know me, I got a lot of words, but I've been struggling to find words to convey what I've been experiencing with Everton these last few months. And it is the erosion of an ethos. And I cannot put it any other way than that. We used to be starved for silverware. Now we're starved for points. And now we're sitting in a situation where it ain't just silverware we're missing, it's wins. And it's not just, competitions, getting far into competitions and semifinals. Now it's just wins. And there's just, for us, I'm not, this is not a critique of anyone, but Goodison is absolutely flat. And people, and I understand why, because guess what? I'm flat too. Okay. I am absolutely just sick to my back teeth with what's going on at Everton. And I'm not even angry anymore, because all my anger is used up. I'm just indifferent now. And I know that if somebody doesn't do something fast, we are in serious trouble. When you're flying, airspeed and altitude are your friend. When you're a football team, your status and your effort are what save you. And we're about to lose our status because the effort is not there. The effort's not there. Being a leader, the buck stops with you. And Sean Dyche is absolutely incapable of being an adult in this situation and saying, yes, what I'm doing is not working. I need to change things up. We are out of answers. Old Mother Hubbard's cupboard is bare, baby. And we are at a point where ain't nobody getting nothing to eat. I cannot believe the point that we've gotten ourselves to. We've literally run down a blind alley with zero outlets, and there's nothing but just indifference. I don't even know what to say. I don't. And I know that you were probably hoping for me to be a bit positive, and maybe it's the anesthesia that's still talking to a man. But but you know what? Honest to God, this is the worst I've felt about Everton in the 13 years I've been a supporter, 14 years almost. I everything that I loved about Everton in the beginning has been stripped away except for the people. That's it. If it wasn't for you and Ped and Dave and all the other brilliant supporters that I get to interact with to sustain me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep doing it. And that is sad. I actually mourn what Everton was when I started with this back in 2010. I miss it. I miss being a mid-table team with pluck that would jump up and beat somebody we weren't supposed to when they least expected it. I love the fact that we would piss in folks' Cheerios when they thought they were riding high. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely love that. When we shithoused Chelsea in the FA Cup, when Heitinga shoulder blocked Ashley Cole and made him whiz his little knickers, and you know, Bain scored that like stone cold piss missile of a free kick at the end. I mean, that stuff was brilliant back then. We don't have any of that anymore. We don't even have a personality anymore.
But that's the right word, isn't it? Personality.
We don't even have a kit as good as that one.
No,
anymore.
We don't have an ego. We have got that kit somewhere, haven't we? We haven't got an ego about us anymore. We've been literally, know what, Nick, right? I'm not going to Wednesday's game, right? And anyone who knows me...
Are we playing Wednesday?
I'm playing next
week today.
A week today.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So anyone who knows me, that's like, I don't miss games. Like I missed Spurs because I had COVID a couple of years ago. I missed Sheffield United a couple of years before that because it was my niece and nephew's christening on the Saturday. And before that, you had to go back something like 15 years before. I don't miss games, and I am not arsed one bit. I am going to see Paul McCartney in Paris next week, and I can't fucking wait because I have no. I
you won't be missing anything.
I don't know. That's the point. I don't care, but that's sad because. I normally would care, but I don't care anymore. And I think that's the more worrying thing. I'm not worried about this season at the moment. I'm not asked. I'm generally at this moment now just like whatever. And I think more and more people are getting like that. I'm hearing people who are getting off, they're not bothered. Like the Fulham goal, people got off and they'd scored and we're just like, so what? I'm hearing more and more people
Loads of people got off like behind, not like directly behind me, but over to my right. You know, we're about 15 minutes to go on Saturday.
People arguing on Saturday with people who are doing the flags and stuff, telling them to get out the way.
Nonsense.
People don't care. People are just like, we're not asked anymore. Yes, there's a takeover. Yes, we want something done. This is terrible. And and what's worse is I think the media on the outside are like, you're great. And we're like, we're not. We are, you know, the standards have been eroded. There's no attitude in the club. We've got a fella who clearly doesn't like us. We don't like him, which is the worst thing possible. And we're at this impasse now where you can't really demand change because you know change is coming.
Listen to this. Keep nicking while we're here. This from me, FC Graham. A Coventry fan today say we are a basket case of a club, Everton. And the sad thing is I couldn't really argue with him. That's how much those in charge of the club for the last 10 or 15 years have brought us to. Nick, a Coventry City fan calling Everton a basket case of a club. I mean...
That's where we're at, though.
Terrifying, isn't it?
And you know what, right? Like, I understand that over the past 4 seasons, I've ranted like a lunatic on videos, on y'all's channel, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm trying to figure out how to post on Blue Sky, and there's only 60-second clips.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start sending y'all match reactions again because you know what I mean. I got no other way to put them up. But regardless, I don't want to be negative. I understand that negativity over a long period of time is corrosive, and I don't want it emotionally for myself, and I don't want to spread that kind of stuff out into the world because there is enough of it with the way things are everywhere, okay? But there is a problem at Everton that is it's not everything that we see from the commercial failure to the social media being substandard to the engagement being poor, to the commercial side underperforming, to being absolutely tone deaf at places where they ought to know better and don't. Okay? All of those things are they're symptoms stacked on top of each other. They're compounding symptoms of an illness that runs through the club, and it's cultural. It's baked in, and it's been that way. And I think Dave hit the nail on the head yesterday. And you've said it before, Baz. Ted said it. John Blaine said it. And then when I say all you guys, I'm talking about the smartest Evertonians that I have ever had the pleasure of interacting with. And then I put my dumb ass in we all agree that there is something intrinsically broken about the football club. And you know what? Whether it's Portsmouth or Coventry City, hell, anybody that calls us a basket case is correct because we are. And you know what? There's no defending it. There's no defending it. The amount of points that we've let slip through our fingers in this stretch of fixtures that should have seen us sitting far higher than we are right now. We are wasting time. We are bleeding points, and we are just hemorrhaging opportunity because December, whoo, man, Counting Crows wrote a song about it. It's going to be one long December, baby. I mean, it is going to be a long December. And I don't even know if maybe unexpected reinforcements showing up in the next month are going to make a difference, whether that's emotional or from a business perspective, or you know what I mean? I mean, listen, I could show up with big gold belt in fan zone. Nobody knows I'm coming. I could show up and you know, macho man that stuff from the Glotty Street to the park end, and it wouldn't make a bit of difference because at the end of the day, I'm just an idiot and I don't matter. But you know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't matter. That's how deep down in the hole we are, y'all. Yeah. And I don't know how we get out.
Well,
I don't know how we get out.
A few people have know how to suggesting how we get out of it and how we turn it around, and that is to change the manager. Quite a few people in the comments. You know, we need a top coach. The coach who concentrates on formation and tactics, that kind of thing. That's from Mark Foster, the latest one. Others have said with this manager, no chance.
No, because he's doing. Listen, Dave said it yesterday. When you do the same thing, but you expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. I do not. I am very, very pedestrian in my understanding of football and tactics. But when I look at it, and I understand that when you put your striker on an island and the midfield has set so far back, like Dave said, it's going to take them 2 weeks to get up here to the striker in support. Even if he does manage to hold the ball up, by the time you get there, he's been dispossessed. I don't care how good he is. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at it, and I see the fact that we do not create space, we do not use the width of the pitch to our advantage, when we do not make proactive substitutions to chase the game and to take the fight to the opposition, you're asking to get beat every single time. And I'm a functional idiot, and I see that. Sean Dyche is a baldy twat paid millions of dollars who damn well ought to know better, and if he doesn't, fire the son of a bitch today.
Okay.
Nick, the only thing, you're very self-detrimental. The only thing you're an idiot for is standing at the back of a plane while the door is open.
Yeah,
that's the only
Maybe I'm tied down. Listen, I'm tethered in. Sometimes,
the door open.
You get on the plane, you shut the doors.
No, mate. No, listen. Sometimes you gotta open that ramping door. You got to feel that wind in your face, and you got to let your boot heels touch the clouds, Daddy. The only danger when that door is open is if Hodges shooting or you trying to take a piss because the wind blows back, and I watched somebody find out the hard way. I may have set him up on that and talked him into it just to watch a grown man piss himself in an airplane. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Nice one.
How I hope y'all are both doing well. Yeah.
Well, I hope you're doing well after your procedure.
Yeah, mate. All indications are that it was good. Got to wait for some test results, but other than that, everything's good. Big man Astro Jr. had a bit of a cold, and he's on, and I say a cold, a little sick fella. He was on breathing treatments about every 4 hours. He scared us this weekend. And
he basically looks like Bane, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Listen.
Daddy, what would Everton go to win?
Yeah.
His accent's anyway.
Yeah. Listen, the whole thing is that, like, he's got, his mom's from North Yorkshire, And then he's got my Georgia accent. You know, God only knows what he's going to sound like, especially, you know, if things pan out in the next few weeks, you know. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And apologies for the silence, but your old boy Astro's been in the crucible. I've been in the trenches. I've been trying to make big things happen. And while I have not been interacting, I have been watching. And your content and the character of you both sustain me as usual in these tough times. And like I said, it's the community that is the only worthwhile part of being an Evertonian right now. And I thank you for that.
Mate, every time you bring the energy, even if you're feeling down, even when you've had a bleeding procedure, medical procedure, you are still bringing the energy. And
top man.
Listen, it'll get better. At some stage, it'll get better. I mean, Graham Hedworth, who I think is a Forest fan, says if Everton don't bin off Deitch, it's the Championship next year. It's a long way back from there. And that's from a fan who is not an Evertonian, but who looks and sees what he sees from an outsider's perspective. So,
Nick, top man.
There's an incumbent sense of urgency. Like when you know there's something that you should have done a week ago and you still can't do it now. I mean, it's like, it's almost like a panic sets in, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. Thanks for having me, guys. I need to get out of the way. There's loads of people queuing up. So
top man, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Take care of yourself.
See you later.
Cheers, gents. Speak soon.
See you soon. Ta-ra, mate. Before we go to the next one, a couple of comments from YouTube members, rather. Carla saying, Astro saying what a lot of us are thinking, I'm sure. I want to welcome Kevin Maloney. He's a YouTube member, new YouTube member. Cheers, mate. Dylan Henderson, can we give a shout out to Gary Speed? 13 years ago today, R.I.P. Absolutely. R.I.P. to Gary Speed. Banastic, a YouTube member, says Deitch has to go soon. Yeah.
Here we go.
And Corin, who's a YouTube member, says was going to call in, but this guy has said it all.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
Who have we got next? Jay Radcliffe.
Jay Radcliffe. I know Jay's a big Sean Deitch fan, so it's good to get. What's good to get the other side of it. So
why is it 87 million degrees?
Because he just sat right by the. I mean, it makes a change. It fraps last week. Jay, are you there?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
All right, mate. How are you?
Good. Not too bad. I was going to ring up and have a moan, but on the back of Astro, he's sort of. I sort of try and get a bit more positive about things. No, not positive, but in terms of the manager, we've got to stand up and get this guy out, haven't we? I mean, in the stadium, I come up most weeks from Leicester, and I'll stand there and I'll have a moan and I'll have a grumble, and you hear people behind me saying like that, you know, things like you couldn't do any better, mate. You couldn't do any better. What do you expect, lads? What do you expect? And it's just. The stadium is just inside the ground. It feels dead, doesn't it? You know, I think we've got to stand up now as a fan base, and we've got to let them in the upper echelons of the main stand know what we want from this club now.
I think we've got to let him know as well, haven't we? Got to let him know what we feel.
Yeah, Ped, you're exactly right. I think, you know, he'll come out and after the game, you know, there'll be polite applause as he comes on to give his quick salute. I just think we've just got to stand up. His substitutions or lack of substitutions, I just don't feel like we get at them in the stadium anymore. You know what I mean? I'm probably mumbling a bit. It's my first time calling.
You're not making sense.
Well, Jay, let me ask you this, because obviously you're in Leicester, aren't you?
I am, yes.
And Leicester have replaced their manager this week because they said his points return wasn't good enough for them, and they've got only 1 point less than Everton. So, I mean. What do you feel about that? I'm sure you've got mates who are Leicester City fans. Like, what are they?
Well, my brother's a big Leicester City fan. He's a season ticket holder down there. He wasn't necessarily enamoured when Cooper was appointed. He wasn't against him. He was just a case of let's see how things go.
Yeah.
But he knew after about 7 or 8 games that things weren't going to get better. They weren't going to start winning matches. The players weren't conforming to the tactics. And he said, soon as what game was it? It was the Nottingham Forest game a few weeks back. So as soon as the second goal went in, the place just erupted. It went nasty, and you couldn't help but feel that he was only 1 defeat away from getting the bullet. And that's Leicester City. You know, they've just come up from the Championship.
Yeah.
And they say, well, my brother says all the time, he says, the days of 2016 are gone. We're not going to compete for titles anymore or anything like that. He said, it's £70 for an adult ticket to go and watch them on Saturday. And they didn't turn up. And the fans are not having it. And they wanted the fella out, and they want to see better football, and they want to see some standards. And I've got a lot of people from Leicester down here. I think I mentioned it in the comments the other day. You know, saying things to me like, well, what's going on at Everton now then? And I'll say, well, you know, we've been struggling the last few years. And he goes, that Dwight McNeil's a good player, isn't he? He goes, I can't imagine he'll be there much longer. He'll be going on to a bigger club.
Yeah, he's an England player, isn't he? He should be playing for England, shouldn't he?
I was like, Jesus Christ. I said, this is the biggest club he'll ever play for. I said, he hasn't got a turn of pace. I said, he's got a decent left foot when he decides to use it. And that's the image we're giving off now. You know, personally, as you know from the channel, I've had enough of him. He drives me around the twist. But
do you think
that's the perception we've got.
Do you think, though, you just mentioned something there I found that was quite interesting, is because we're not losing home games, as you know, as such, we're drawing them, and it's dreadful. But do you think that's the difference? That's why Leicester sacked their managers, because they have lost games at home. It's happened right in front of people's eyes, so people can understandably get upset during the game. I mean, I know our fans we booed on Saturday, but do you think that's what essentially has been keeping him in a job, or will keep him in a job for the next whatever, is because we haven't been losing games at home? So therefore, whoever, I don't know if there's anyone, but that pressure, even if it's just pressure from the outside, the media, whoever are still relatively like, oh, he's all right, because the fans aren't really kicking off. Do you think that's because we haven't been losing home games, even though we haven't been winning home games? I appreciate that.
I think it's given him a stay of execution. I think, like I say, there are people who are happy to be unbeaten in 8 games, but we've probably only won 1 in 8 games. You know, I think you're right, Ted. I think the fact that he's drawing matches and not letting goals in is, to the media and them outside, it's, oh, Dyche's doing what he does. Everton are a terrible team. We're always down there. Yeah. You know, this is an argument I was having the other day. You know, you're always down there battling relegation. You're going to go one day. I said, let me tell you something. The last 20 years, we've had 3 relegation battles. But you were down there last year as well. I said, but without the points deduction, we'd have been mid-table or above. I said, there's this weird narrative that Everton are always down there, we're always struggling. And he said, yeah, but you think you're a big club, don't you? And I said, well, put it this way. I said, Manchester City have spent billions upon billions of pounds, and they've only just overtaken us in league titles. And I said, this is the beast you're talking about at Everton. I said, and that's why the fans are like they are. I said, especially the fans of a certain age, like myself, they know what this beast is. And we've got to start making the ground hostile, not nasty, but hostile. We know how it's going to go next Wednesday. I'll be up there next Wednesday. We'll come out the blocks for 10 minutes, and then it'll go piss poor. We'll be going backwards, giving the ball away, back to Decore, giving the ball away. We've got to get after him early doors. We've got to get after this manager. We've got to make him accountable. Because
you said before, you know, talking about competing to win trophies. It'd be nice if Everton competed to win points, wouldn't it? You know, rather than just trying to just sit back and not get beat. Just does my head.
I think what Jay's just said there is a really important, like what he just sort of hinted at, is that we don't have anybody. Like he's just said, he's just defended Everton to someone, right? Leicester fans, all right, you've had a great, like, sort of 10 years. You've won, 3 trophies since we last won a trophy. I get all that. But there's nobody fighting our corner. We've said this for how long have we been talking about this? About you go in the media is so... You've got people who are in media, whether it's Leon Osman, Phil Jagielka, and they're so beige. They never fight our corner as such.
That's
it's
right.
so beige because they're just doing everything they can to have a career on the telly. I understand that. Whereas, like, obviously, your Carragher's and Nevilles of the world basically make it Man United TV and Liverpool TV when they're on TV. I get that. But we never have anybody. Like, Neville Southall was in an Everton lounge on Saturday bemoaning the standards of the club, right? But of course, he's never on telly. Sky would never ring Nev up and go to Nev, what do you think? Because they'd get a straight answer. This is terrible. This is not my club that I recognise. And the people they do put on, it's all, well, you know, you've got to look at the problems he's faced, right? I don't care the problems this manager's faced, right? Someone said to me last week about sacking him, right? Oh, the players are rubbish. I said, yeah, weren't the players rubbish under Frank Lampard? We still sacked them and improved. The same way when Lampard come in, we sacked Benitez and we improved under Lampard. And then when we sacked Lampard, we improved under this fella. Like, doesn't matter how bad it is. You can't sit there and go, well, the players are terrible, so what can the manager do? Your manager has to make things better, has to manage in the situation. And I do think that outside perspective that you talk about there, Jay, is so important. Nobody cares. If Everton had lost the last 3, I guarantee one of us 2 would have been on Sky by now. They would have come and gone, God, go mental for us, because they'll come to me and go on, put the camera on, let's let them go. And I'll happily oblige doing that if it needs be. But I think at the moment, we as fans are like, this is terrible. Right. And no one's listening because of those draws, because it's all draws and we're not getting like beaten. And it's like, but to us, we're like, yeah, but look who we've played. What are the standards? When Mika was on Match of the Day after the Southampton game, and he's going, oh, they'll be all right. There's so much positive. And we're literally drowning. We're drowning, and he's explaining what the water's like to us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
it's like that's because Everton have fallen, and because nobody stands up for us. And if it's the most frustrating thing for me being an Everton fan.
Yeah, you're certainly right, Fred. You make a lot of good points there, and it's but I find that I'm always putting fires out where Everton's concerned. That especially being down here, I'm always putting fires out with Everton. I get it everywhere. But I was talking to a Leicester fan on Saturday, and he said to me, he said, but you would swap our last 10 years, wouldn't you? You'd take our last 10 years off me, being Everton. I said, not a chance, because I wouldn't accept relegation.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
And they said, well, sometimes you got to go down to come back. I was like,
no,
we don't accept relegation at Everton. So you not understand the beast that it is.
Mm.
Nobody outside Everton understands the actual beast that it is.
Mm.
And I just hope when we go into the stadium now, we can just not get at the players, but let people know who's in charge of this club, or prospective who's going to be in charge of this club. No, this just isn't good enough, and we're not having it anymore.
Mm.
You know, before it's too late. I'm a bit like you, Baz. I sort of hope that more out of hope than judgment. I think we'll stay up, but that's more with my blue tinted glasses on. You know, I can't see us ever going down, and I won't accept us ever going down. But I just don't want us sleeping into a situation. I think we need to get this going now. You know, not nasty, not hatred, but as soon as things start turning after 10-15 minutes next Wednesday.
But we've got the next 2 games, Jay, are really the right games, aren't they? It's a 6-pointer. We're at home, and the fans have got to be there to drive the club on, and then we've got a Merseyside derby. We
should take care of itself, hopefully.
They'll take, but next Wednesday should take care of itself, because it's a massive game. It's a massive game. It's a 6-pointer. If we were to win that next Wednesday, that will give us a massive boost going into the Merseyside derby as well. So the fans have got to be, can't just be like a typical, I know it's an R7 kickoff and it feels a bit rushed and all that, but I do think fans have to be up for that one, and have to be ready to be loud and it not be a quiet game, because I do think this is one of those games where, I know it's a little bit, April and May FC kind of thing where we get it going, but this one, I think this is a big game. If we let Wolves beat us, then we are in serious trouble. When you look at the next 3 fixtures, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City. That's our next 4 fixtures after Wolves. I mean, that could be catastrophic. Forget about the manager. It's catastrophic for us as a fan base.
There's a whole fan base. There's a whole fan base now. Every Evertonian, indifferent of liking the manager or not, it's time to hit the trenches. You know, let them know in the media that no, second best isn't any good for Everton anymore. You know, let's turn Goodison into a bear pit, whether we fancy being there or not, whether it's pissing it down with rain. You know, I came up last week, it was pissing it down. But you know, I walk into the stadium and I'm pent up, ready to go. You know what I mean? And then to be shouted down by fans around you, you know, it pissed me off royally. Sorry about that.
That's it, mate, and you're absolutely right.
And I said to the guy behind me, I said, you're not silencing me, mate. I said, I pay good money to see this. I said, I've supported this club since 1987. I said, I'm not going to be silenced and watch us go down the plug hole. I said, and this whole stand with Gladys. So this whole stand should be of the same opinion. You know, this is to accept what we're accepting and chanting Kino when he's put up front. It's not his fault, is it? It's not Michael Keane's fault. You know, principle. You know, it's just turning wishy-washy, and it's not the Everton I was brought up on, and it drives me, mate. It drives me around the twist. And when you hear that guy comparing us to his last job, and you know, this is what these lot do. This is what these lot do when we're turning up at Finch Farm with flares and seeing them off down the street, and turning up at the ground with flares. You know, something which he doesn't want us to do. You know, as a fan, I've just had enough of the media, some of our own fan base, them in the boardroom, the manager spitting on us, and I think it's time we take it back. We're trying to take this club back. It really is, man. Really, it's time to take this club back.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Nice one, Jake. You can hear it in your voice, mate.
Sorry, I'm mumbling a bit. I'm a bit nervous. It's my first call.
You sound good, man. You sound good. Nice one. Nice one,
Jay. Take care, guys. All the best.
Nice one, mate. See you later.
Take care, boys. Bye now. Got the Toffees.
There you go.
Absolutely. Corin, who's a YouTube member, says no one at the club will change the manager. They've got no balls to sack him. Kevin Maloney, new YouTube member, says the coach has to be a rah-rah inspirational guy to get us out of this lingo. I think Wilfred Nancy might be the man. And MLS, of course, doing really well. Carla says some Leicester fans can be so arrogant. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how a Leicester fan can be arrogant, but there you go. That isn't to you, by the way, Carla. I just mean any Leicester fan trying to be arrogant is bonkers. Is that real?
Yeah. Perfect. You'll all get to see it at 6 o'clock. I can't say what it is, but at 6 o'clock you'll all get. I'm not allowed to say what it is. I know, you know. But at 6 o'clock you'll all get to see what I've just showed Baz there, and
show me on from the side.
I will.
So Gary Ward says I probably won't be first in the comments tomorrow because I'm driving to Nashville. There you go.
Gary Ward. Oh, it's Thanksgiving.
And I wouldn't mind. He's driving from Old Swan to Nashville. It's going to be some drive. That Matt Gibson says, evening, gents. People tell me these upcoming games aren't the time to change the manager. Why? This fraud will drag us further down, but a new manager could grab 2 or 3 points that he won't. Nice. But even more, he could approach the games in a way that gives us hope on through December, because this fella will just make things worse. Owen says, enjoyed the live talking about potential new managers today. Got me thinking about you guys doing a show with the main 4 or 5 candidates and perhaps a poll. For me, I'm with Baz. I'd like Terzic if we replace the manager. Paul says, I've missed 2 games this season. Wolves next week will be 3, and I genuinely couldn't care. I left the Brighton game when Holgate was stripped to come on. I walked out of the Fulham game in the 77th minute, and I was halfway home when Beto scored. I can't bear to watch this style of play under Dite, and the attitude of some of these players stinks.
Which Paul was that?
Paul Cattrall, Big P-Cat.
Oh, P-Cat. Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations. Matt says, I appreciate the manager isn't the only problem here, but he's an immediate one.
Yeah.
Off the field needs to completely change to help this club grow and be successful, but now it's being pissed all over the place by this excuse of a manager.
Like that fella at the back of the plane?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Good times.
Who've we got, James?
Yeah,
Brian. Here we go. Here we go. Big Brian's ready. Brian, good evening. Hello, Brian.
What some Ped said earlier about I don't care. I'm going quite right, Ped. Quite right.
Okay.
I'll give you an example why.
Yeah.
I agree with you. At the start of the season, I was picking out which games I'd like to come over, being at the last season at Goodison Park. Which games to travel over for. Now, for me to travel over, it takes me 3 days and, well, a fair bit of cash. And I just can't be bothered with it anymore. I just can't take the effort to go and watch a match, 2 hours, 3 days, a load of cash for 2 hours of what? Nothing. It's awful. We all know how bad it is. And there's no atmosphere, which is the thing that gets you there, isn't it? It's all flat. And why is that? Because of what's produced, which is, of course, down to the manager. And it feels like the club's in like a malaise at the moment, like in limbo, as you said. But it's like a malaise. They were like under Benitez, and you didn't really feel it were going anywhere. Well, I think that's where we are now, and that's why the fan base is so frustrated, because we're not moving, we're not going anywhere as we're waiting for this takeover. So there's a lot of boredom and frustration, because Dice has forgotten that word about what people do on a Saturday afternoon. They want a bit of entertainment. And you pay your money for what? You go to get bored like it is watching us now and getting depressed and frustrated and cringing with embarrassment about what's being produced on the pitch. It's like you get, all right, lads, you got 10 minutes. If we don't score, they'll be playing for the 0-0.
Yeah.
Because it's happened at 10 minutes, we stop.
Yeah.
And there's no explanation. Why? I'm not going to go into the manager's lack of imagination and all that. Everyone's been through that so many times before. But as we said, we're not being turned into a Burnley. The fans refuse that, and that's part of the problem, because Dyche does not understand our fan base. One iota. Not one iota. And this is part of the problem, because he, I don't think, expected the kind of reaction he's been getting from us, as opposed to being happy to stay in the Premier League. Well, that maybe works somewhere else, but not here. And he hasn't grasped that. He hasn't understood it. And so this is this feeling of, it's almost like, not anxiety, but you just know you turn up to watch a game and it's going to be flat. No atmosphere. And why? Because of what's produced on the pitch. They support it. As soon as something happens on the pitch, the ground, right, lifts, it rises. People start getting on their feet and getting vocal. But they're not going to do it at the moment as long as it's flat on the pitch.
Yeah.
It may be like 3 games where you got to win to stay up. Okay. But at the moment, that is not going to happen. And that's one of the reasons why I can't be bothered travelling over.
Yeah, I don't blame
it's just
you,
not worth it. And it's very, very sad state of affairs. But I've been going the game since 1970. That's when I first started going. So it's like, it's wrenching. My guts are being wrenched.
Yeah.
And I don't feel as though I'm alone in this. And I pity those like yourselves with season tickets and the work you do. You have to go because it's even in the 80s, you pay cash on the door. People say, I'm not going today. It's garbage. It's really poor. I'm not wasting my money on that. And it's not that long ago, back in the early 80s, I were playing in front of, 25,000 for a league game. Oh,
God, yeah. Absolutely. 13,000 copies.
It's really, really sad where it is.
Yeah.
Well, the lowest one was 3,800 something in a Simod Cup or whatever it was at the time.
Sports Cup, yeah. I was there. We beat Man United in it, and there was in the street end, and there was about 5,000 there or something. Absolutely, yeah. All of them, Brian. That's right, and people did decide on the day whether they were going on a match and all that. Now, people like yourself have got a plan I mean, you'd have had to. You couldn't have decided on the day in the 80s if you were in Sweden to go, but you know what I mean. You still got a plan, but there seems to be a weird sort of thing that's gone round now that you shouldn't expect anything. You should go to every game. You shouldn't expect anything, and that's the way it is. You go, and it doesn't matter if the football's terrible, but you should just accept that the manager. And this is now people who've probably been gaslighted. That the manager's doing a great job and this is the best these players can do, and we've been unlucky. It's done that. For whatever reason, some people have convinced themselves is the right answer. It's weird. I think it's a weird take. Because this team and squad is better than it's showing and should be trying to win every game, particularly the ones at home. But what we're being served up at the moment is not very good. And therefore, no wonder people are leaving early and people are just voting with their feet now and going, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going because, you know, if you're not going to win trophies, you've got to at least entertain your fans. And what I mean by I don't mean 900 passes like Man City playing out from the back and all that, but I mean trying to win the game at Goodison, trying to score goals, which is what we go for, to celebrate and see a good goal. Now you go and you know, Everton have scored 5 goals at Goodison Park this season.
Yeah.
And in two games of those 6 home games they've had, they scored 2 goals in, which means for, you know, 1 in another game and 3 we haven't scored a goal in. And we've got 6 points from 6 home games. Absolutely atrocious. Won 7 games of football since December. And it's December next time we play. You know, these numbers are absolutely dreadful. And they should be something that the manager and the coaching staff are embarrassed by, and our players.
Yeah.
Should all be, and worse, more importantly, our CEO and Farhad Mashiri and everybody else, they should be embarrassed by what they've churned out so far. So we've got to step it up. We're in a big month. The question is, can we turn it around? Well, we're only going to do it by being more positive and going after teams. Hoping we can get 7 0-0 draws in December. Great. We'd have 18 points, but you're playing a very dangerous game.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Trying to keep 7 clean sheets on the run. It's great if you can do it, but it's a very dangerous game because if your plan goes out the window because the opposition score, you're in trouble. And that's what Everton have found this season.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for Jordan Pickford, we'd be down near the bottom 3 now.
Absolutely.
Look at Saturday. If he hadn't made those saves, we'd have lost.
Of course we would.
And it's not the first game.
93rd minute, West Ham, unbelievable save, you know.
He's a key player because if he's not on form, we concede because he makes those saves. And he makes he could save his points. He wins his points. There's no question about that. Yeah. And
you want your fan base engaged, Bri. You want your fan base. You want people like you itching to get over, to get to the game, to watch the team and back the team and enjoy Goodison and see us try and win. That's what you want. We all should be like, can't wait to get to Goodison next Wednesday. You know, and then for the Liverpool game and all that. But I think a lot of fans are a bit like...
Exactly.
You know,
that was one of the games I earmarked to come over for, but... that was one of the games I earmarked to come over for, and I thought, no, I'm not going over for that. Not a chance. Not a chance. So, Joe Pickford's got to be top form all through the rest of the season. Because we're not Burnley. And
No.
Ped's team I agreed with last week for Brentford on the last second, but I've bought my new team for this weekend, which I would have liked to have had against Brentford. So I'm waiting for your starting 11 for Sunday.
Well,
we'll see what it looks like. And I can't see Dice playing it anyway, but but they're not okay. So yes, this Malaysia on the club. It's got to go. It'll only go with results on the pitch and quality. And then, of course, the question of new manager.
That's how it feels.
Oh, seems like you've got to be Portuguese these days to get a job in England, doesn't it?
Maybe they're just really good coaches.
Everyone's going Portuguese.
Well, I don't know. We've got Graham Potter.
Apparently, yeah. Well, we. Oh, don't tell me about that. Oh God, Potter. God, no. Hey, I've told you already what I think about Potter.
Come over to your country land and won won everything with Ostler.
Yes, he did. He did. Well, no, he did not. He did not win everything. It'd be silly.
He took them up and won the league and got them to the last 8 in the Champions League.
You want to say, yeah?
Come on, Brian.
Oh, God. Have you ever seen Swedish football?
Still got to do it. Well, your vaster ass manager must be absolutely gassed then.
Well, you talk about he's actually being talked up to by some of the bigger clubs, and this is true. And even then, actually, we are the masters of losing by 1-0.
There you go. So he's
another one. 1-0 defeats on anyone, and now not giving penalties and things like this.
Maybe he's in the running for the Everton job.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you. He could well if he changes nationality, he would be.
What's a Portuguese?
Oh, dear. Anyway, so
nice one, Brian.
Exactly. Well, I remember to be a manager in England. It used to be, first of all, they're English and primarily from the north of England and the Midlands. Then you got a load of Scottish managers coming down. Okay. And since then, it's been a steady influx of foreigners. Now, even any talented English talent in the Championship or Division 1, they've not got a chance because they're not Portuguese. If they had a Portuguese name, they'd be looked at and said, oh, he's interesting. There's this German fella who you keep talking about, Baz. Yes, very interesting, but he's got to change his nationality. Then he get a chance.
Brian, I don't know if you've noticed, but most of the managers in the Championship are foreign.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all foreign. I think maybe we have to just get to the point of understanding that.
I rest my case.
English coaches are just crap.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I haven't got much experience.
Not all of them.
I haven't got much experience on this, but just from my recent memory, English managers aren't particularly good. I'm just thinking that, out loud.
That tells a story, doesn't it?
They shave their heads when they don't even have to. What's all that about? What is all that about? Bald men around the world are crying their eyes out going, you don't even have to shave, and you do. Nice one, Bri.
Cheers, Bri. Let's leave it there.
Well, I'd have costly any day.
I'd
have costly any day.
There you go.
Take care now.
Proper bald.
Take care. Ta-ra, Bri. Ta-ra, mate. We've got Mick waiting.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Brian. We've got Mick waiting.
Go on, Mick.
Mick, good evening. What do you want to say? Hello, Mick.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Mick. Can hear you now. Yeah, what do you want to say, mate?
Hi, mate. Trying to be a little bit more positive of what's
go on, mate.
Positive.
Go
on. What manager would you, off the cuff? I know it's hard because of the options that are available. I've got a slightly different view, and I don't know if you guys will agree. And I like the opinions that you put on the channel. What manager would you pick if you had to pick now? What manager would you pick to come in, and why?
Well, what's yours first?
Yeah, go on.
So, I know Baz has spoken about it in the past, so mine would be, and I know a lot of people would disagree, but I would have Moyes back, and the only reason being is, I feel like we need to get them sense of values that we've got, the values that he spent so long building back into the club, and the team that he made us. And okay, he had a couple of dodgy seasons at West Ham, but I would have him back in a heartbeat just to get the basis back. Build us into the new stadium, and what's not to say, this team is nowhere near good enough. But with a few additions, we could very quickly, and shown by Villa, can be brought straight back up the table. With a few more wins, a few more better decisions, more substitutes on the pitch to change games. Because you yourself, when you watch the games and when you watch them back, if we were to make a change and we had that little bit more quality on the pitch or then on the bench, it would change games dramatically. For us, I feel anyway. We all know stubborn the manager is about making substitutes, but a little bit more. There's no reason we finished. Was it 11th, 12th? Sorry, top of my head. Last season without the deductions, we're not that far away. And you've said it plenty of times, Baz. The Premier League is not that great below 10th, and we could very easily climb up that table. I'm sick to death of us getting collared into this relegation battle, and we get collared into it by proxy. Because he is the manager, and we just pass him points to go and buy the home games alone this season, let alone the away. We take that out the equation, but because he's just inept, he just won't make decisions, and he'll stand by the players. And listen, I'm all for that, but there comes a point where there's 30,000 people in Goodison Park who know to make changes, and he just refusing to do it. And it's how many times, you said before, Ped, we've got to get round the team, and I completely agree with you. But there's only so many times we can build that, try and get that momentum back up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's why Mick Baz sent a point a few weeks ago, maybe over a month ago now, and he got a lot of flack for it when he said, it was the fans that helped as much as the manager about keeping Everton up. It's like, we've said how many times, isn't it? It's like, you go to Goodison now. We saw what happened at West Ham the week before with the West Ham fans, by the way, going, God, isn't that terrible? And Saturday was just the same for us, wasn't it? Because when you're watching flat, uninspiring football and you sort of know how it's going to end, it makes it really difficult, doesn't it, to get yourself going for the match itself. And how many times can we do that as a fan base? Just keep going, and people go, "Well, it's your team and stuff," but you've still got to feel like there's going to be something, or you're being listened to, or the man. Like I don't like it, but I understand it. But when people are singing Beto because they're trying to force a sub, I always find that really weird, because it's like, is he making the sub because the fans are singing it? And if he does, then that's shocking. Or, do you know what I mean? It's like the fans are trying to get him to do something. It's like, that's terrible. If a fan base is having to sing a player's name,
the biggest indictment.
It is, isn't it? Because that to me is awful.
It's almost like he watches the channels, because
yeah, it
how many
is,
times the fan, honest to God, because the amount of times we say as fans, he should be playing in this position, and on Thursday he says, "Oh, what to say, NJ can play 10. I know better," type thing, and then all of a sudden he put him 10 for like 10 minutes of the game, and I'm like, are you just trying to do what we want to do, or it's like I don't know. Honest to God, I always try and be positive. I always try and put a positive spin on it, and I'm just sort of holding out for the takeover and hoping that within the 30 days, like yourself and John say, just to get the structure in place, we get a new manager, and for me, the manager has got to be somebody who knows the club, who knows to try and fast forward that a little bit, and I get exactly what you're saying about building a long-term plan. That long-term plan needs to happen.
Yeah.
But for stability, I know I'm sick of them words, stability. I'm really sick of it. But it needs to be somebody who knows the club. And for me, it's
Go on. No, you're going with more. I'm like caught between the two, because I'm listening to people. I do like to listen to more intelligent people than myself, and there are a few out there. But we had
not many, eh?
not too many, mate. I mean, Einstein will come in for a chat now and again. We had Gavin Buckland before for a chat about his book, and he Baz was mentioning Moyes, and he was like, no, he said, if anything, and by the way, Gavin Buckland, he's a massive, obviously a historian of our football club, and he one of the things he was saying to us is like, if anything that has happened to Everton proves is like, we've got to get away from the comfy blanket of all these people that we love. But don't get me wrong, I'm not like in full agreement with them, because I feel the Moyes stuff, the pull of the Moyes stuff as well. But it is a bit like a tractor beam, isn't it? It is like going to the comfortable thing and feeling comfortable because you know. But he's right in what he's saying. As a football club, we always do sort of go back to what is comfortable. And I know Dave was saying sort of similar yesterday. He's like, at some point we have to break that habit, don't we? And I think we have broken it a few times, but gone away from it quickly. Gone away from it as quickly as Sean Dyche has gone away from Njai playing at number 10. That's how, we have to, at some point, and this might be after maybe, a Moyes comes in or whoever, but we have to break that, don't we? We have to get away from the comfortable English paint by numbers manager and go, this fella's going to be here for 5 years, and you better all get used to it. And there'll be ups and downs, but we'll talk you through it all the way. So the club have got a big part in it as well. But I do think what Gavin was saying to us was right. Of we've been doing this for years, this familiarity, and it's not really worked at Everton, and it's actually stopped Everton from progressing. Even though it might have worked in the short term, it's actually stopped us going forward in the long term.
I think we've liked it, and we've liked Martinez was a slightly different one, and Marco was a little bit slightly different. But as soon as things don't go our way, we sort of get panic, and the fan base is the worst fan base I know for it, because we want to always aspire to be as best as we can, and if things start to dip, we panic. And you said it how many times, Baz, about sack Marco after 3 games. So at that point, that was our standard, 3 games. Now we've probably won double that in 12 months, winning football matches. And it's like, how far have them standards dropped? And I know the quality of play is different. I get that. But it just reeks of neglect from the board. And we can go on, we could talk about it all night and the mistakes over the last 3-4 years. But we are just holding out now, and right now is a really dark time for us. And I never thought I'd say it was worse than what it was 12 months ago when we were waiting for its ownership to get sorted out. But I just think we need to have a clear plan now, and we need to sort of get stabilised, get set. I did like the idea of, and it just sounds too easy to say it, Moyes with Carsley, but I don't think Carsley will come in. That would then set the foundations. Carsley's a blue himself. I just think I don't sound like one of them over the road, but we are a niche club. We've got our own set of fans. We like what we like, and we are a special club, as everyone feels they are. Their own football team is, but we need to sort of get back to that, build off that, and then also progress it forward then, because it can be done very easily. Newcastle showed it, Villa have showed it. We just got to get that quality of play in and stop neglecting the simple, just like left back, right midfielder. Them sort of positions, we need them positions covered, and you don't have to be a massive high level. We don't have to spend loads of money, but you've got to have that basis. Push the competitiveness within the squads, and then levels come up. Brighton have showed it as well.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's actually that. So go on. I've said mine. So who would you guys pick?
I mean, there's a thing gone out there, a story saying who Everton's top 3 targets are, and I'm hoping it's not just because I named them yesterday and someone's honestly, because I named yesterday.
It does, without blowing our own trumpet, it does happen now and again. People watch the show, they obviously lazy journalists will watch stuff we and other channels say, of course, and they will get that consensus of what people say.
But yesterday I said Eden Terzic, who took Dortmund to the Champions League final in the summer, and left, he's available. Conceição, who's out of work, the Porto manager, mentioned him, and Graham Potter. Now, Graham Potter, people will go, I don't know. But he's a very, very good coach. He's got a very good way about him. He established Brighton from a long ball team, which he were when he took over from Chris Hughton, with Glenn Murray up front, and turned them into a team that was short of a striker. Had he got a striker, a decent striker, they were 4th when he went to Chelsea. So when he left them, they were 4th. He would establish a clear playing style for Everton. I don't think the comparisons with Martinez are fair. I think he plays a lot more progressive than Martinez. But any of them 3 I'd be quite happy with. If you were talking, trying to get someone out of a club, Mike, with compensation, and someone like Thomas Frank, I think would be, because he's got the personality as well to sort of carry what Evertonians are like. But I'd be, if those 3 were a genuine top 3 of people who were interested in the Freaking group, then I'd be quite happy with it. Listen, Moyes, if you said to me David Moyes was taking over tomorrow, I wouldn't be against it for that comfort. And I know, and he'd done a great job at West Ham. He did, regardless of anything else. He won them a trophy. They were in Europe every year. So,
like I say, Baz, we should always aspire to be better than just going for the safety button every time.
Yeah, because the only way we're going to ever improve, Mike, the only way we're going to ever expand as a club is if we do something different than what we've done for years. We haven't won a trophy for 30 years, it is, isn't it, in May? Yeah. And that doesn't tell you something's gone massively wrong in that period of time, then nothing will.
I like Thomas Frank. I think, because I actually think he can work with the players we've got, because I think he works with the players we've got.
No, I know.
Bank of Freakins.
I did think it was interesting the week when he said, like, they were asked about his future, and I know United was sniffing, but I don't think he'd ever go to United. I think they always want someone a little bit more high profile. But he's always spoke in his press. He's always spoke well about us. I know most of them do, but he has, and I think that may be another step for him in his development as a manager, to come and take a club of our size along. No disrespect to Brentford, but I just think we are a bigger club. Do you know what I mean?
Look at them, though. Look at them, mate. They're not a great side. They sorry, he's got them playing like a really good side. But if you look at the squad, quality-wise, it's not amazing. Yeah. It's not like Everton can't be like, do you know what I mean? They're not massively better.
That's why I like him though, because I do think
really well.
I do think he already
and he'd have more money.
I think he already fits many of the like the remits of what we got. I don't think they're amazing. I think they got better strikers than us, and that helps them. But very workman. Conceição, again, I'm only being told that by people that we know, and the first name, someone said to me who works in the game is Conceição is like a little bit of one of those where it's he genuinely is ready for a big job, and whoever gets him could be getting a really solid manager there. But I sort of, again, this is the Everton person in me. I like that idea of like Carsley coming with Moyes. I know it's like it's a bit out there, and I don't think
it's a bit fairy tale.
It is a bit fairy tale, and that's why I sort of probably like it. But it is a bit like get Moyes, then Carsley comes in with them, and then Carsley's like going to take over in like say 18 months. But I think it's the Moyes part of that wouldn't have it. I just don't think Moyes would go, no, don't be stupid. I'm coming in. I'm coming in because I'm the manager. But Thomas
it'd be really poetic for Moyes to come back in, get us up the top half of the table, take us into the new stadium, and then whatever happens at the end of the season. Because I always aim high at what I think.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Win the FA Cup. Close the 30-year cycle.
Yeah. We only F7 players win Toffees, so
close the 30-year circle. Be nice.
Yeah, that's it. But hopefully, lads, by this time Christmas, hopefully we've got a fresh manager.
Absolutely.
I hope to God the Freakins have not been sitting on their hands and they're watching the club, they're seeing the situation we're in, and they're already lining up potential candidates. I really do. And I just hope
listening to this now, Mick, and listening to your call. If I'm being honest. So there you go.
And if they are, I'd like a Lexus automatic EV, please.
Toffee TV down the side.
Yeah, no, can't have Toffee.
Why would they give you that though?
Just my face, Mick. Just my face on the side. I don't need Toffee. Just a big picture of them, because that would certainly stop people vandalising it.
It would, yeah. No one would ever want to kick it with that on the side, no? Jesus.
Yeah, I don't want to make that car anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice one,
Mick, brilliant call, mate. Thanks very much.
No worries, lad. Keep it up, lads.
Take care, mate.
See you later.
Couple of
hang on. James, put the camera on me, please. Right, so I don't know if you can see this.
You can't see anything.
So at 6 o'clock, Everton launched this new thing. I don't know if you can see it. Right? No, because you can't. There's no point trying to do something you can't do. James, who do you think you are? No, I'll go over there. I'll go over there. Hang on, then. Right.
Do it then.
6 o'clock. Can everyone see that? You might want to put it on the main cam.
Put it on the main cam, James. Right, at 6 o'clock, Everton launched this.
So this is, you can see the seat. So there's the seat.
There's your seat for the new stadium. And Pedder's is turning it round.
I'll come out of it.
Yeah, I would.
Right, so, there you go. So that's what you get, right?
This is the app, is it?
This is the app. Right? You get...
Yeah, give him that microphone.
Just stick 3 on. So you get your section. You go into your section. Can everyone see that? It's not working. It's not great.
No.
I appreciate it.
Basically, there's an app and you get to see a view.
See that? It's not great.
No.
It's crap.
Yeah. Didn't work
this well as it. So basically, 6 o'clock, Everton launched the thing. You can go and have a look at where you'd maybe like to get a seat in the ground. We've just put it on all our socials. And if you want to check that out, it's there. So it's like the seat view to see where you want to sit. You can check any seat all around the ground to see. So that got launched at 6 o'clock. And it's there to look at.
Brilliant. 2 comments. Since Ped made the cheeky comment before.
What was my cheeky
comment? He seems a nice lad. But the Everton lad who's been on the overlap recently is a downgrade from Bass. Frustratingly over positive. Thank you very much.
Oh, no. Let's just get this right. It should be me. Right? It should be me on the old. Bab shouldn't be anywhere near it. He's too nice and positive. He shouldn't be. His relationship with Jamie Carragher is far too incestual. Right? That needs to be sorted out straight away.
Honestly, the second one is, no, it's got nothing to do with the club. Why Why I don't go on the overlap anymore.
You were bad.
It was literally one episode that Ryan has done. I'm back on it in a few weeks, to be fair. I love still Ryan, but he's clearly being told what to say when he's on.
I don't think he's being.
I don't know whether he's being told.
I don't think he's been getting told what to do. Right? I don't believe that. I think the lad is a genuinely positive young man. Right?
And that's brilliant,
he should never
by the way.
change. He should never change. But he also does effectively work for the football club, and he's also mates with some of the players, and that's going to make it very hard for him. Even though whether he believes other opinions or not, which I don't think he does. I genuinely believe he thinks Dwight McNeil's good enough for England, and that's fine, mate. It's right. Big your mate up, no problem at all. We all know that's absolutely not true, though. We all know Dwight McNeil isn't good enough for England and isn't anywhere near good enough, as good as like Cole Palmer and stuff. The level in I think sometimes when we watch our team and we see someone do something good, we go, wow. And then when you watch a real player every single week, you go, oh my God. We all get dumbed down watching Everton at times. We get, because we're not in the stadium watching the movement of like proper really good players. It's like when we got Hammers. When you got Hammers, you suddenly went, that's a proper footballer. That's a proper footballer. A proper footballer. The kid is very honest and genuine and you know, earnest, and good luck to him. That'll take him really far in the stuff he does. But I just don't quite think being in that close, have a relationship with the football club can allow you to be as honest as you want to be. Because how can you be? You work for a football club. These people are your mates. He couldn't, when he was asked the question about Dom, if he'd said, well, the manager doesn't, well, he's having a go at the manager, isn't he? By proxy. Opinion, so it's really hard for him. But listen, he didn't invite himself, did he? So.
Yeah, no. Anyway, the reality is, what they do is when you go on the overlap, they do the main show, and then they record the other bit, and then they put that out later on. So it looks like it's been a couple of shows, but really it's the same show. So Ryan's done a couple, and good luck to him. Listen, he's brilliant at what he does. He really is. Really positive. Boss that, no problem. Lovely being positive. Just difficult to be putting under pressure because he does work at the club. He can't say, don't know, he can't say Sean Dyche isn't doing a great job, and then he's in Finch Farm and Sean Dyche he can't do that. It's difficult. So just fair play.
There was an article before got shared with some in a group I was in, talking to Baz about it before, and Everton have, like, in terms of like social media presence in the Premier League, have dropped out the top 10, which is, that's appalling as far as I'm concerned. That's appalling. That's like your fan base and it's like 13.1 million over all platforms, whereas like the top four are well into the hundreds, more than 120, 150 million. That's appalling to me that we're in the bottom half of that. But you know what? Everton could do worse than give Ryan a full-time job at the club and say, you only work for us, and get him. I know he's only a young man, but let him do his own thing at the football club, and let him have loads of ideas of how he wants to. Because obviously he's smashing it. The lad is smashing it. You know, last week he was playing footy with Roberto Carlos, having a conversation about him about 110s. The lad is fearless in terms of like speaking.
But that's because that's for his own brand.
But forget that. Why
can't do both, can you?
But that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. He's not going to give his own brand up because he's never going to.
Well, then he shouldn't work for Everton then. Shouldn't work for Everton, right?
Okay.
Everton should offer him a job where essentially he runs social media at Everton, because if you're going to do it properly, forget about the people who probably run it now. You probably haven't got a clue, and clearly by those numbers don't have a clue if Everton are that low down. So get someone like Ryan in there and let him run that side of things and get all his ideas, and let him run with all his ideas, and let him do whatever he wants to do and put them on Everton's platform, not his own, and let him elevate. Because it is natural that Everton's fan base is aging. It's an aging. So that basically means that some of the social media platforms that you need to be big on, we're on TikTok. We don't go on TikTok. Well, he's massive, and that's a massive thing. Let him do that side of things, because clearly it's not working at the football club. Whatever they're doing isn't working. It's not good enough. They're not reaching. Like, for me, if I was in charge, I'd have a documentary every month this year, 15-minute documentary about something about the stadium, whether it's the baseball game. I'd put a documentary out about the baseball game in October, about why we've got the third kit and and we brought out a range. Well, no one knows anything. So I would have brought out a documentary every month this year commemorating something different at Goodison Park. 15 minutes on that thing, got the Everton Historical Society involved and done 15-minute documentaries every single month. We don't see any of that. They're just not, that side of things isn't good enough. And I'd let someone like Ryan just take that over. I really would.
I don't know whether he, again, things like TikTok and that, yeah.
No, the whole thing. The whole thing.
Okay.
The whole thing. It's a young man's game. It's a young man's game.
Making documentaries about.
No, making documentaries. That's not social media. No. That's a different side of things.
Yeah. But I'm sure there'll be big changes when the Freakins coming, because there's got to be, because it can't carry on the way it is. Right, we're done. Thank you very much. All the calls, they were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you to everyone who's watched, engaged, made comments, done all of that. Brilliant. We'll all be back tomorrow. Someone asking about Toffee Tenables. Yeah, there will be more. Don't you worry. There will be more, including we've got to get James on the go as well. He's done brilliantly on the calls tonight, getting praise on Premier for how well he's done with these calls. Let's see if he's any good at Toffee Tenable very soon. Take it easy. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.